allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll do the roll call. Justin? Here. Don? Here. Owen? Here. AJ has an excused absence. And I see we have Nancy here.
Yes, here.
Awesome. So we have a quorum. I'll take a motion to approve today's agenda.
I'll move to approve today's agenda. I'll second.
Justin motioned and Don seconded to approve today's agenda. We'll move on then to the Tourism Director report.
Hello, Lodgers Tax Board members. Thank you for attending today's meeting. Just have a few things to go over that won't be covered in the agenda. The first one is basically, we do have an event coming up this weekend. We put a lot of emphasis on it. It's for Saturday. We know this Saturday is one of our, it actually is the busiest day of the ski season at the resort. So we're gonna try to entertain those people on Saturday evening. You know, in the last couple of years, the Saturday of President's Weekend was the day that always went over 5,000 skier visits. I don't know if the resort will hit that number this year based on snow and so forth, but it'll be at least 4,000 people. So it's a big crowd in town. I don't know what your occupancy looks like or the resort's occupancy, but hopefully it's pretty good for this weekend.
We're about 95%.
Okay, wow, that's really good.
I think we're up there too.
That's excellent, that's great.
It's always the biggest.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're continuing with that tradition, that's great
No
to
matter what
hear.
the snow is. They're coming.
I'd like to invite you all to come over to that event. It starts at 4:30. We're gonna have KDP playing, we're gonna have a big bonfire. We're gonna set up our new pop-up tents and our banners with all our Visit Angel Fire visuals. We have light system that we'll have out there, putting out some lights. Because we're gonna be recording television commercials. Monica's got a crew, the agency's got a crew up here this weekend. As you know, you're housing them. And they'll be shooting at the resort on Friday, Saturday, and then I think they'll be gonna cover the bonfire on Saturday evening. So hopefully we get some good footage for future winter stuff. We're still trying to gather assets. We still don't have enough photo and video to get us through a couple years. So hopefully after this winter shoot we will have, and then get a good summer shoot this year, and we'll have the assets we need for our website, for photo, for press inquiries, for website, for all the other things we do advertising. So that'll be good to have. In your packets today is quite a bit of information that we'll cover in the agenda and other things coming up. You're gonna see stuff from our event facility architect and landscape planner. We won't get into those today. They have been vetted by our village manager. They are all in the state system, so we can contract with these vendors right now and get things started. There isn't a holdup there. So, but I wanted you to have the information so you could see it. We won't get into discussion on it or anything. But that process, as you know, we had a workshop on the Liberty Square planning last week with council. Went fairly well, got some feedback, good feedback from Allison on the comprehensive plan committee, primarily after the meeting in Brett's office. But they're compiling that information. When we get these back to them, we'll put together another meeting where we'll invite this committee and committee chairs from the committees that are relevant to Liberty Square development. You know, trails, parks, and those people, and get them all involved. So we'll have another session to provide our feedback to these companies. And then we've got to start getting some plans together One of the things, as you know, we had some good reserves in the lodgers tax fund. We had about 2.3 million. It's now at 2.4 million. 2 million of that will go for a down payment for the financing on our event conference facility. So 2 million comes right off there. I'll be pulling the other 400,000 that's in there right now for next year's budget. Based on what we're seeing in your lodgers tax report, the revenue report. We're about 6% down right now, but I think we can make that up. I think we know January was terrible, December wasn't that great. I think we have some opportunity to make things up. Our ad campaigns, we're seeing results, I'll get into that later, but we're seeing results that give me optimism that we will make up that ground and hit that $1 million in revenue. So we'll have a full budget of $1.4 million for next year and hopefully exceed that. And that's what we're working on moving forward with that budget. I did the first round of budgeting last week and it'll go, I think it's due tomorrow.
And this is for calendar year July 1st through June 30th. Okay.
And I do think, y'all put out the letter to all the homeowners with their utility bills.
That's-
We do expect.
I would expect, I know some people are talking like 50%, 100%
Yeah.
increase in water tax money.
Something.
I'm hoping for 20. If we
Yeah.
got a 20% increase, $200,000 more in that budget, yeah, I can spend that.
I'm getting calls already from clients who,
Yeah,
Well,
so.
if we could get Airbnb to just collect it directly, it would be a big difference maker
Okay.
too. They just collect the GRT right now, but other municipalities, Taos, Ruidoso,
they get direct collection?
they get direct collection
Okay.
and remittance, just like we're getting for lodgers tax with, Verbo.
Yeah,
But Verbo's not collecting sports facility tax,
Yeah.
so if we could get them to collect that and then get Airbnb to collect both of them, we would see a huge increase.
And with
where
y'all's efforts, y'all are doing.
we are getting a lot closer to implementing that software. We've had meetings with Heather, Audrey, myself, and Caroline. Caroline's gonna be administrating it. She's got the email, the email ready to go to all the second homeowners and business licensed people that do vacation rentals with all the links for fire inspection and everything else we need for their permitting process. The whole thing's lined out perfectly. All I'm waiting on is to get the page built on the village website. So I'm working with Shay to get that landing page built with that information. Soon as that page is done, that email will go out and we'll start seeing a change.
Okay.
So.
I do have whoever wants to spearhead it here at the village, I do have the phone number email address for the lawyer, Airbnb lawyer we would need to contact to get them to start collecting that.
Okay, we will need that.
And also,
That'll
condos
probably-
don't get a water bill. So if you send it out,
Oh,
condos don't get a water bill.
Yeah, only a few, like 3 of the condo communities have their own metered water individually.
Yeah.
Most of them are like just
Yeah,
the same,
screwed.
Yeah.
so.
good point.
And I've gotten a couple emails, complaining about the new demands. About how one yesterday was complaining about modular homes, and we don't need those for employees, and we just need more restaurants. I pointed out to them that most businesses are desperate for employees, and that's why we aren't seeing new restaurants and things. I tried to explain things, but obviously, some people don't
Connect
know
the
the
dots.
current situation, and the current situation is different than it was pre-COVID. So, it's gonna be an education process. We've got the podcast out on it, we'll keep putting it out, and I'm open for 20%. If we could get 30% more, that'd be awesome.
Well, and to Justin's point, you might get Mike Stilley to send it out to all, because he manages the majority of the condos, communities. You could probably give it to him and then they could just distribute that.
Who's he?
Four Seasons of Angel Fire.
Okay,
They manage most of the condo communities, and so if you gave it to him, he could probably email it out to everybody.
okay,
That might be another avenue for your newsletter.
yeah, and it'll be in the Enchanted Circle News, it's in that newspaper too. So we're trying, we're trying to use the channels that are available to us and get people informed, and then get compliance and see the revenue. So that's about it for my tourism director report.
Okay. We will go ahead and move on to old business. Item A, event facility update.
In your packet, you received proposals from Consensus Planning, who's a landscape architectural firm. They are also the people that did the original plans on Liberty Square years ago. And you also see something in there from, Formative Architecture. They're more of the buildings and that kind of thing. So the two of them are working in conjunction with each other. Like I said, they've both been approved. I'm asking for, I just got them. So I sent them to Santos yesterday. I want him to review them. Brett's reviewed them, given him his okay, but I also want BJ to see them. You know, one of our mayor's charges was that we don't waste a lot of money on more plans that just sit in village offices, and we actually come out of the ground and get things done. So that's the mission I'm following. No more just plans in drawers to get this stuff moving. The facility, Brandon, now we have the barricades in for the professional metal barricades. Those have been delivered. The tents on order are 140 by, or
40 by 120.
40 by 120 tent is on order. Our stage will be ordered next week, hopefully.
Yeah, we're getting with Oliver, or getting with Oliver
Brandon's
on the
got-
makeshift and the other
Do you
one.
wanna pass out the grass samples? Where, one of the changes we did make over there,
It's legal now.
lawn samples, turf, sorry.
Oh, Kentucky bluegrass.
I strike that from the record as turf samples. One of the things that was brought up to us when I originally talked about a grass lawn over there was the potential of leaching of fertilizers into the creek. I was prepared to mitigate that. I don't think that's a big issue. But the big issue is we're short on water. We're coming up on, it may be tough to water things in this valley, and I don't wanna be throwing down a bunch of water to get some sod to take right in the center of town when we're telling people to conserve water. And then I don't wanna have to do the maintenance of watering and all. I love a natural lawn, I think it's awesome, but it may not be the environmental sustainable choice that we need to make. So we've pivoted to turf. Brandon's got a good rate on the turf, 20,000 square feet. So that would be about a little over 140 by 140 if you're looking at a square area. So that's a good size.
Well, it'd be portable, so.
Yeah, and we can pull it up. The total bid on everything for it except the sand surface that you put under is $61,000 with
Wait.
everything.
The shipping, I'm gonna talk them down on the shipping on that, so we'll get lower. And it has a 15-year warranty, has 15-year life, and the only reason it's 15 is because every year it loses like 3% of its color. So it's just gonna kind of, the green's gonna fade.
We'll have white lawn that looks like snow in a few years.
Spring cleaning.
So that plan is moving forward. The temporary facility would be here, out of the way of the construction that happens with the fire station and the convention meeting facility. So hopefully we have a plan that works. Been a lot of going back and forth. I'm glad we have some experts involved now though. So that's important. Next thing I have for you in the tourism director report is our advertising performance for January. And when I get the report from the agency that's doing the media, and the guy that's doing Tim, he lives in Malibu, California, brilliant media guy, he's worked on a lot of accounts for a long time, and he knows how things perform. And we're going through this last week, and he's talking about our metrics on our, like, for example, social media. Average social digital ad click-through rate is a little under 1%, 0.9% of people click through that thing. We're running at 2.66%, higher than he's seen. Most any client ever have. And the reason we're doing that is because we're hitting the right audiences with the right message. That's why they're clicking. If you serve up irrelevant content to people, they ignore it. But if it's something that hits home, you're gonna click on it. So we've got an agency, media people that know who we're going after because we've told them who our markets are. And then we've got people with experience in the valley. Monica knows the region, I know the region fairly well. We know what our message is, we know who our market is, so we aren't wasting a lot of money. And it's been a good ride, December and January. I covered December's performance last month. January, some notes on this. In 1 month, we've generated almost 35,000 website visits. That's over 1,000 people a day in a month. 10% of those people that visited our website populated dates, number of guests, rooms, and hit search in the booking window. So 10% of the people were looking for lodging. Google had the most efficient average cost per booking referral. So a lodging booking that came in is costing us about $14.09 for a Google ad. They're our most efficient resource. And that's a good cost. Paid social, like I said, had a click-through rate that is 266% above the industry benchmark. And our television commercials that Don's friends have seen in Texas, I know, have been aired 1.25 million times on gas pumps, TV stations all over the place. Next page is on birth booking referrals by city. Well, I've made some adjustments. What's great about working with Tim is we pull up these reports and we'll look at the metro areas. For example, on this one, San Antonio, for the amount of money we're spending there, had huge numbers. Another place that did well for us, that traditionally isn't one of our markets, is Midland, Odessa. It actually sourced better than Fort Worth if you put Midland and Odessa together. I think that if I had to guess as to why we're doing well in Midland, Odessa this year, is because Ski Apache's having a crappy season. They got 2 runs open, a 10-inch base, they got really nothing there. We know what the fires have done to Ruidoso in the last few years, and we may be gaining some visitors from southern Texas area, the El Paso markets and those areas, and Midland, Odessa, that are choosing us as an alternative. So January, we hit all our budget goals, including the airport spend. Dallas and Houston, as expected, lead in booking referrals. San Antonio was a standout, performing outside above budget. Midland, Odessa is doing it better in Fort Worth. And our social engagement, followers, people that click, people that like, and so forth, is up 2,155%. Again, we started pretty low on these things, but we're getting up on the step fast. San Antonio and Lubbock are performing beyond budget allocation. Albuquerque is not translating to as many bookings. Tim thought it was because of day trippers. We don't do day trippers. As you know, we sell people lodging before we sell them anything else. First thing I learned when I worked at the resort, after working at other ski resorts my whole life, is I'm not selling lift tickets here. My first year, I thought I was still selling lift tickets and season passes. It wasn't until a year's experience that I realized, no, I need to sell them a place to stay. Then I sell them the activities. And one of the challenges has always been, our activities were pretty resort-based. Other than Nancy Birch's horse riding tours, most everything is resort-based. So when the resort is closing operations seasonal and stuff, we see our visitation drop. Well, how do we maintain that visitation? We've talked about it in the last year or so. We're trying to heavy up on events. If we can't add activities because we can't put in an amusement park or another ski area or another golf course or something that operates a different time of year, events can drive people here. So we're heaving up on events, as you guys know. We're trying for Memorial Day, we're trying for other events, and we're gonna drive those in our advertising to keep the level of interest up, to keep people enthused about Angel Fire, and keep us sort of in front of mind in the news, as opposed to, ski season's over, we don't think about them again till Don fires up the golf course, or Patrick fires up the bike park. So we're just trying to maintain our awareness in the market, hit those planners early in the process, and then always follow through on, because we have shorter booking windows. On Facebook, we had 1,000 new followers, even though growing followers isn't our primary objective, it's booking revenue, but we're growing followers. We had the top post by far on our Facebook post has been the Advanced Airline posts. Might be because it's new, because it's exciting, things along those lines, but that's been a good one. Instagram has grown 30% over the previous month. It's only 300 people, but it's still growing, it's good. And they're engaged, higher level of engagement than most other products and services see. Facebook and Instagram combined advertising, the dollars we spent on those two sources drove 1,365 booking referrals on our website. So we know the social media is driving some lodging interest. Our click-through rate is 266 above industry benchmark, and this tells us that the content and the messaging resources are resonating with our audience. Our website traffic last month was up 941%. That's the thing I look to. That's success to me. The bookings are success, and the website traffic is a success to me. Followers, clicks, and those kind of things lead to this, and this is what matters the most. In case you haven't been on our website in the last week or so, you should go, because it's all new. The new website has changed. There's a lot, the navigation's different. There's a lot more content. Events calendar's filling out. We are building a list of every business in this valley that will be housed on there. So we're gonna really try to promote everything and everybody that we have here. Try to keep people entertained and engaged with our market. We had a 10% conversion rate off of those in bookings, which is great. And Meta, or Facebook and Instagram, are the biggest drivers of that traffic. Next ones are out-of-home spending, which is billboards and gas pumps and those kind of things. Our spend is tracking right in line with targets. Billboards get the lion's share of the spend, but they're the big and impactful things where you can make an impression on people. And we got units targeting equally across couples, family messaging, and then we have video and the TV station. So we'll actually run our TV spots on the gas pumps and televisions. So the same spots you saw last week. That's what we're watching. The next one, television spots. TV spots running in broadcast and cable content that is viewed on full screen TVs using connected TV, Hulu, YouTube, TV, Roku, Paramount Plus, Samsung, etc. We can track when we see those people getting that streaming TV, we can actually track their IP addresses. And we know exactly when a viewer visits our website and completes an action. So if someone sees one of our television ads, Don's buddy in Fort Worth sees a television ad, and a week later they go to our website and click on it, we know. We know they saw that television ad, and that's what drove them to click on their website. We are sneaky, we are yes, we are Big Brother. And as you know, the impact that you get from television and billboards, those big visual images, is pretty phenomenal. That's an impression. NBC is our top network by spend, website visits and booking referrals. So that's kind of cool. HBO Max and Tubi are second and third. And Tubi is a Fox-based free streaming platform, I think.
Mm-hmm. I like
And then the last page covers our total spend for the airport advertising, which has been about $5,200 so far. You'll see where the clicks are coming from, Dallas, Houston, but we're putting the ads in Dallas and Houston too.
Greg, backing up a page, just a quick question. NBC's at the top, but I don't see ABC or CBS. I wonder why it's, the other major networks
We
aren't a
do,
part of this.
we are getting spots on them, Dawn, but they aren't tracking high enough to show in this report.
Okay.
But I know we're on those as well. I've seen, when I got into the weeds deeper in the report, you can find them, but they're not in this synopsis. So we are on those.
Okay,
Yeah, we are on, and we're on Fox, we're on all the,
major.
yeah. I don't think we had any spots in the Super Bowl though, so sorry to disappoint.
The next 4 years total.
Soon. Yeah, yeah. This report shows what we spent so far, what we're gonna spend. As you know, the total spend was $750,000. So far, we basically spent $161,000. We spent 21.53%. So we're right on target, we're right on schedule, we haven't varied very much. I didn't back off because of lack of snow. I felt we needed to keep the foot on the gas just to maintain the volume we had, and hopefully it's working, because I think if we had backed off, we'd be a little further behind than where we're at. Any more questions on advertising? It's really exciting though to work with good people that are putting out results for us and not wasting our money. Kinda nice. I do question, it's not like I blanket agree to everything they're doing. And I do question a lot of stuff, but they're pretty good. I learned a lot.
The results are hard to argue with.
Yeah, the results are really hard to argue with, so that's, and hopefully hopefully the groundwork we're putting in now is a foundation for our future. You know, as we know, Angel Fire was a strong brand in Texas 10, 15 years ago, huge. Name recognition was through the roof, but we also know in the last 10 years, the population of Texas has changed about 100%. There's a lot new people there, people that don't know where Angel Fire is, never heard of it. So we have to be in market, establishing our brand and inviting people up.
I think the real test and the comparison will be next year versus this year, because, you know, this is really the first great effort that we've seen in a while.
Yeah.
And if they can continue to do as well or improve on this year, that would be really
Yeah.
a huge success,
Yeah.
which I have no doubt that they will, but I think that's gonna be.
No, we need
where
to stay
we'll-
on it, it's.
Yeah,
It's-
continue to grow in that direction.
And it's, you know, I love managing the agency and doing that, but I also really love the direction and the commitment I get from the village and this committee, from the mayor and the board. I go see Owen at least once a week. And it's not a quorum and it's not official, but I get, he's our committee chair, and I feel if I need to get some feedback from someone, Owen's a great person for that. He runs, he's got 95% occupancy this weekend. He must be doing something right.
Yeah.
So it's great to have the resources we have in the community and the experts we have in the markets doing the work we have. And right now, we're bridging the gap, so we're not wasting a lot of money. So that's great.
You wanna move on to C?
Yes, Lodgers tax report. It's right here. You'll see it's down so far about 6.1%. But I feel we can make that up. So I'm not, obviously we want to exceed it, but had we not taken our time out last summer and not, if we had done this plan and got this thing going 6 months ago, I don't think we'd be behind as much as we are, personally.
Yeah, we had snow.
But now we just need to turn it up.
I appreciate you getting this, be a nice report each, so we can kinda keep track of it.
Yeah, and then, like I said, we did first round of budgeting this week, so I'll come back to you with what the budget is at the next meeting, what we're looking at, and how we're allocating things, so we'll get that done and where we stood compared to last year. So there's always something to look forward to in these meetings. Thank you, guys.
We'll move on to new business, Lodgers Tax Board Mission Statement discussion. So I was, at the Comprehensive Planning Committee meeting, and I guess every one of our committees, every committee is supposed to be submitting things to the Comprehensive Planning Committee, and one of them was a mission statement. Yeah, I think ours could be something very simple, you know, using Lodgers tax money to bring in more overnight guests so that we can, you know, use that money
For advertising,
for
events.
whatever's, you know, for
To
different things.
continue to make that happen.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
It's just a,
it's a pretty simple one
Reinvest
for
in-
us. So, you know, reinvesting money, Lodgers tax money to grow the amount of Lodgers tax. So, I don't know if we wanna propose something that we can formally put in, or something we can create and then have a vote on next meeting.
yeah, I think maybe you can put something together and send it out and ask for feedback and, you know, we can throw back an idea or two or say, hey, this is right on par
Okay.
with what we need and then have it ready for next week or next month.
Okay, I will do that.
The other two we may consider, and I don't know if we did already, would be the terms and seats. Cause you want alternating seats and terms, don't you, with this board? Because it's nice to, I mean, you don't want everybody to be nixed and a whole new group come in, cause you start from scratch again.
Hey,
Do we have?
they have life sentences.
That's right.
Well, I know in the, we have to follow the state mandate and they don't even have any terms. Like as far as how long individual people stay in office, but I'm more than, huh?
Do you wanna consider it, or should it be something we should discuss
I
as
mean,
well?
Most of the meetings, it's typically, it's appointed.
So in the, I think on the village website, it designates where the committee members come from, what businesses they represent. But I don't remember seeing anything on terms either. You're right, length of term.
Yeah.
I mean, typically it's more of a different, a lot of these committees, it's just trying to find somebody who's going to be willing to be on the committee and actually participate.
Well, it is, I just think it's important to have people on the committee as new people come in on the committee, so that you're not,
Not everybody turns out at once.
right. Not everybody.
And the hard part is it could be a full administration change depending on who comes in, like. yeah.
But that's why we should have, I mean, if we had a structure, it could help prevent that from happening.
Well, perhaps, I mean, could you do some research on, like, is that something we can even do? Like, put it in form or not?
Well, I think we can. I'll look into it though.
Yeah.
Okay. They also had long-term goals, so, you know, I'm not sure, we kinda have some long-term goals as far as, the event convention center.
Yeah, I think we've got more long-term goals than they've had in a long time. Already, so it's a great progress, I believe. I mean, we could post some of those long-term goals.
Well, and I think it would be good if we did post, like when that goes out, you do a good job in the newsletter, you know, this information board that we're gonna have out here is funded by Lodgers tax. You know, this tent, this artificial turf is funded by Lodgers
Right.
tax, you know, those type things, so that people realize that, you know, this party on this Saturday is funded by Lodgers tax, you know, so that people continuously know that, you know, the money that we're collecting is going for things that, not only do we have our, and that would be something, and when I do a first run at this mission statement, I would like to add that, you know, to use it to bring in more guests, and to benefit the long-term residents too.
Yeah,
I
improve the
think you need
quality
to
of
have
life,
those
yeah.
two things in conjunction. I know the mission by the state is to spend it on things to bring in guests, but then you can spend it on things that also are quality of life benefit
Yeah,
to
for the
people
residents,
live-
yeah.
For the rest of us, so.
Yeah, and that's not our primary goal, but it's definitely something to consider. We wanna make it better for everybody.
And some of those those short-term, visitors are gonna become long-time residents.
Yeah.
And that's what's gonna continue to grow, and I believe we're gonna see more events, or more people want to bring events here, the more, they're seeing this message that, lodger's tax is available.
Yeah.
A lot of people probably don't even know that.
Right.
And, they may have events that they've talked about. I've talked to someone about, they do promotions for races all around the country, and, it would be, this type of race would be like 100% guests coming in. And so they didn't even know that lodger's tax was available to help. So, more of the message is getting out there. We're
And-
gonna see other people wanna
Yeah.
come here.
And as important as having the lodger's tax to help them, it's having a venue. So one of the things we're finding out is, as we're trying to get bigger acts to perform on our temporary events structure, we need a track record. We're not gonna get Journey there without getting Poco there first. You gotta work your way up, so it's like, so as we work through these promoters and we establish our reputation, we're able to deliver on these things, then we get those third-party event promoters going, yeah, we wanna host a festival in Angel Fire, those guys help us out, the police are behind it, the fire department, the tourism office, they got a venue, let's go do something in Angel Fire, cause now we win. At this point, all the lifting and all the event promotion has been done by us internally. We haven't had, other than a little USASA events coming in or stuff, we haven't had anything big coming here in a while. So, hopefully we get some credibility, we get some venues, we're promoting things, we have an established brand, and now people are seeking us out to hope to do things here. You're exactly right, that's what we wanna be. So Brandon doesn't have to do it all.
Well, does anybody else have any input on these things? All right, well, I'll put together some concepts and send them out. We can't discuss things, just as a reminder, everybody, so, I'll send them out individually, and then that way everybody can start, putting stuff together, and then, if you wanna send it to me, then I can send it out again. And then we can have some discussion once we come back for our next meeting.
Good.
Nice.
All right, well, anything? We'll call this meeting closed.
58. Not bad. I think our record's 20.